Arrow functions are a compact way to write JavaScript functions. Let's understand this with some code. We have a sum function here which is returning the sum of 1 plus 2. We can simply convert this into an arrow function like this. We have to add an equals symbol here and an arrow symbol. Now it is an arrow function. We can make it more concise by removing these curly braces, this semicolon and this return keyword. And if we try to run this code, it will give us same output as we would get from a normal function. Now we can only remove the curly braces and the return keyword if we have a single line expression. If we have any code that is more than one line, we'll have to use return keyword and curly braces like a normal function. We can also pass arguments like a normal function here. If we have a single parameter, we can simply ignore the function brackets here. But if we have more than one parameter here, we have to use function brackets like this. And if you have no arguments, we can simply use the empty function brackets here. Now this is about syntax of arrow function. With arrow function, syntax is not the only difference that we have from traditional functions. The major difference between arrow function and a normal function is arrow function do not have this binding. We have an object here which has a property I equals 10. Now we are trying to use this with the help of this inside an arrow function and inside a normal function. If you run this code, we see that when we are trying to get this property with arrow function, it is not working. It is returning empty and undefined value. But when we are running this same code with the normal function, we are getting this property and this object as well. Due to this reason, we cannot use arrow functions as methods. Now the second difference that we have is arrow functions do not have access to arguments object. We have a normal function here and we are passing arguments 1 and 2. If you run this code, we'll get those arguments. If you try to convert this function into an arrow function, and now if you try to run this code, we'll get nothing. So arrow functions do not have access to arguments object inside them. Now the third difference between arrow function and a normal function is we can use a normal function as a constructor. If you run this code, we see that it is working perfectly fine. Here we are using this test function as an constructor here and we are creating a new object and we see that it is working perfectly fine. But if you convert this test function into an arrow function, and now if you try to run this code, it will give us an error. The test is not a constructor. Let me clear the screen. Now another major difference that we have between arrow and a traditional function is arrow functions do not have access to yield method inside them. So we cannot use them as generators. We have a generator function here and we are using yield to simply return 1, 2, 3. Now we have created a generator object and we are using next to hit the first yield here. And if you try to run this code, we see that it is simply returning 1. Now if you try to convert this into an arrow function, we'll get an error. As you see that it is not working as expected. These were the main differences between arrow and a normal function. There are few more differences that are arrow functions do not have prototype method and we should not use them as event handlers. Hope you liked this video. If you did, please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.